knocked off in the second half. They had one way of playing, and when that broke down, they tried to play like Waterford, and it worked for a while, but Waterford wore them down eventually. So, good win for them in the end.
It certainly was, because the thing from Waterford's point of view, Eddie, is they naturally want to make progress from where they were last year. Winning the league title, obviously, was good for them last year. The championship was okay, but, you know, I suppose their fans would have expected more out of it.
Yeah, they would, in fairness, and I think to win matches and to win championships, you have to go and attack it. I don't think you can win championships by defending, and yes, their system lends itself to that. And maybe, you know, last year when maybe they needed to attack Kilkenny, they hadn't the prowess to do that. But, you know, Michael touched on it there. I think they have a really good squad. They have players with the skill and with the hurling ability to do that, and they're evolving. I think I've noticed during the league is that the certain phases of match they will play very, very defensive. They're willing to let the ball up. One man plays up on his own a little bit. But then, you know, maybe when an opposition team is expecting it loose, suddenly there's a push-up of numbers and they seem to go after a team and attack them for a couple of, maybe a 10-minute period. So,
well, this, I suppose, Michael Dignan, is the important thing about Waterford this year, to have to add to the system. What they did last year was good. And you've seen signs of this. Yeah,
I think in the first half today we saw what they do so well and what they did last year. Here's Stephen O'Keefe for the puck out to the sideline, and Michael Walsh, playing wing forward, comes right back, and straight away, man coming off the shoulder, Jeremy Barron, who's, I think, he's crucial to the way they play, but straight across the middle to tie the burk and nobody on him. Now look, this can be sometimes go wrong for you if these balls go wide, but that goes over the bar. But you look inside there, there's one player inside, Shane Bennett, on his own, no support anywhere to be seen, and that ball goes over the bar. Last year the criticism was, particularly maybe the likes of Austin Gleeson, taking shots and they going wide, but here you have Jeremy Barron again running straight at Limerick, very direct, gets held up, and there's Austin Gleeson coming up from the half-back line. So now, you know, they have that hurling ability to do that. He puts that straight over the bar. Again, you'll see nobody inside. And we saw earlier in the second half, we saw Darragh Fives, who was the sweeper, we saw him coming up the field and scoring. But in the second half, I think we saw a change in their play. Here's Brian O'Halloran, direct running straight down the middle. Michael Walsh again, this time way closer to the opposition goals, inside to Pat Curran, off the ground into the back of the net. And he saw players coming through there, supporting and pushing forward, and they put pressure on the Limerick defence.
Yeah, look, on this, I think, look, we're highlighting poor old Brick today, the elder statesman today, but that's a blatant throw, and it ends up in the back of the net for Limerick. But it would be unfair to just highlight Brick on his own. I think there's an epidemic of this today, and maybe going on for a while, but certainly today, I think we counted across both matches, definitely the guts of 15, and maybe another little one I'll throw in for the forwards union. I think there's a lot of backs getting away with playing the men before the ball, and maybe it's something that refs are going to have to look at a little bit. You know, I think they're getting to, you know, maybe a few little bits and pieces to push the boundaries.
Poor forwards. Huh? The poor forwards getting too much attention.
Eddie, let's have a look at Limerick and the way they played the game today and their style of play.
Yeah, I think, look, they knew what they were going to get maybe against Waterford, and this is what they expected. But I thought Nicky Quaid was brilliant today. You know, we see Gavin O'Mahony here, a sharp puck out, 2 passes later, and Tom Morrissey comes onto it, pops off the ball, Barry Nash coming off the shoulder, superb point. They responded to a couple of Waterford scores immediately. I mean, the camera nearly didn't even catch these. Dermot Burns, who has arguably been the find of the whole league across the country maybe, 3 points again today, picking them off. And this is what they've done as well. They worked very hard on Waterford in the first half. You know, Darragh Fives coming out with the ball, and Tom Morrissey again benefiting from that. So that was the positive of it. It sent them in a point up at half-time, and you know, this is something you don't see too often now. An old school long puck out, ball breaks and it pops over the bar. It's probably the exception rather than the norm, because both teams went very short today. But then when Waterford pushed up and attacked Limerick today, this is what happened as a result of it. You know, you have 2 passes there within 20 yards, another sharp pass, and maybe that ball should have been cleared. Now that's debatable. Is it a very soft free for Limerick to get out of there? Across the field, then Ronan Lynch goes, and it gets turned over. It gets prodded out for a sideline, which Waterford subsequently scored. Now again, there was another debatable decision maybe when Waterford or Limerick had it back to 3 points. Gavin O'Mahony got popped. I didn't see much of a free against him, but it finished it off. But I suppose Limerick ultimately came with a game plan today, and they weren't able to adjust them when Waterford really went at them. They just struggled to maybe push on up a little bit more, or to be a little bit more direct.
Well, I suppose, you know, in the modern game, you have to have a game plan. I suppose you probably always did. But at the end of the day, Michael Dignan, it's the fellow waving the little white flag that's what's important. And Waterford today, they had a great spread of scores. They were getting scores like from different options.
Yeah, that's right. Look, they have a very strong bench as well, and I think that's proved to be so important, you know. Here's a fantastic score. Like, people forget about the individual brilliance of some of these Waterford players, and here's Patrick Curran. He's only one of a number of great players. Tyga Burke, Austin Gleeson, you know, all these young players, fantastic skill, and that's probably the score of the day. Here's Brian O'Halloran, come on as a sub today, had a big impact, pops that one over the bar from 50 yards. Here we have Shane Bennett.
Shane Bennett, yeah, who has been exceptional for them over the last couple of seasons, but a guy who I think is playing on great confidence. I mean, the penalty today, absolutely brilliant, youthful exuberance, not a bother on him. Didn't take a funk out and pinged it into the net. And then Tom Devine, who has been probably one of their subs that has made the biggest of impacts. I mean, we spoke earlier on, they have really good bench, they have a good squad now. You know, Pádraig Mahoney, good to see him back on the field today. So I think they're probably growing Waterford, really.
And without Mara Shannon, you know, one of their huge scoring threats, they scored 323 today. So I just think today might prove to be a watershed day for Waterford hurling. You know, they only scored 3-8 in the second half.